So here are 5 animes that I believe you should be watching this month, especially if you are starting your spiritual journey and stuff. For number one, we have The Beginning After the End, which has been getting a lot of controversy over the internet and stuff, which I don't know why. But I'm glad I have found it for myself, as opposed to searching it up on the internet, seeing what other people had to say about it first, and then going and watching it, because I probably would have adopted the same herd mentality of hating this anime. That's not even a bad isekai, honestly. Like, is it the best? No, not really. But I mean, is it the worst? Far from it. Far from being the worst isekai you could ever watch. It's a really good watch about this king who had lived his past life in nothing but tyranny and just destruction and all this stuff, and he gets reborn, and he's reborn into a loving family. He learns compassion, he learns empathy, he learns all these different things. He learns what it means to actually feel. So I think it's a good watch, and you guys should give it a try too if you want. At number 2, we have Clevitas, which is a story about a dark beast who has taken upon himself to adopt a baby human in order to raise it and live amongst humans in the skies in order to basically it's some sort of experiment in order to study them and see how they are. And basically the human baby that he's raising is the anchor, and if anything happens to it, he's basically saying, like, screw all humanity. Like, he was going to say that in the beginning because humanity has already been waging war on his kind and things like that. So it's just one of those things where it's like, here's the middle ground, here's where we stand. I'm gonna see how this goes, I'm gonna learn from y'all's perspective, and then we'll take it from there. At number 3, we have To Be Hero X, which I personally love because of how they switched the animations from CGI to classic 2D anime style. I kind of wish they didn't steer away from the CGI as the series has gone on. Maybe it just became too cost effective or things like that. I personally enjoyed how they had it mainly CGI in the first few episodes, and then with occasional 2D animation here and there. It's a really good watch though overall. Each character it focuses on gets like their 4 or 5 episodes. You learn a little bit about them, and kind of just takes it from there. It's its own story. You just really gotta watch it. Now these last 2 I resonate with heavily, especially if you are someone who has become awakened, someone who is very empathic. These 2 are very good watches if you want to delve into them. So up next we have Rising of the Shield Hero, which has been out for a while. A lot of you already know the story, but I'm personally glad that I didn't even think to touch it until I got to this certain point of my life, because I would not have resonated with the main character as much as I do now. It's basically, starts off with Naofumi and 3 other, heroes being summoned from their respective worlds from across different, universes, if I'm not mistaken. And they each get put into this video game world where, they basically have to save these villages from the coming waves and things of that matter. And in the first episode, Naofumi kind of has his whole fool's journey all in one. If you guys know about the fool's journey, he has experienced, betrayal, humiliation rituals, smear campaigns, all these different things within the first episode. And not even in the whole span of the first episode, maybe within like the last 10 to 15 minutes of that first episode is where he experienced all that stuff. It's a really good watch, and since that first episode, he kind of had like a mentality switch to where he's like straight to the point, no bullshit. I see right through y'all, I don't trust y'all, what are y'all trying to do here? So I say it's a good watch, especially if you are becoming an awake or on your way to awakening or in your awakened state in the 4D, things like that matter. Definitely get that show watch. And then last but not least, we have The Unaware Atelier Meister, which is a story about a guy named Kurt who is extremely talented in basically any single field you can think of except for combat. And he is really just has been conditioned to think he's like an average person when he's really not. And with that indoctrination, he has undergone a lot of disrespect from, especially from his last party that he was with, when they were basically belittling him, slandering him, really just digging deep into his self-esteem, and he was basically made to believe that he was, nothing but a burden, even though he's the sole reason that a lot of people have stuck through and even got out of, like, barely got out of the shit that they have, been through. He's the reason that most of these people around him are even, alive. So, from going with that last, group of people he went to, then finding his own people, it just really just develops itself into a wholesome story that I feel like a lot of people on our path would resonate with, because, where he's at, that's where I'm at here. I'm just waiting for the universe to just catch up to me. So I say it's a good watch. A lot of you guys will resonate, especially if you are aware now, and this will basically be like, so this is how I looked when I was unaware of things. If you know, you know. So yeah. And those are the 5 animes that I say are a good watch for this month. If you guys have any other suggestions, please leave them in the comments below.